This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas. But first of all, I'll take a look here at Intel and at AMD. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation advice on any stock commodity ETF. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Intel and we have AMD. Now you can see here, Intel, we gapped all the way on down, and then we just had this sideways action here for quite a while here now, okay? We've been hanging around the bottom, had a nice rally up, came out here, and then we retested that low, and it held it very nice, and now we just had a gap up, and now we have a sideways action. So let's just look at the downside here. What you really want to watch, key level, if you're trading this, is that 23.76. That's going to be very, very key. Then obviously we have another key level here. You have your 22.86. We have your 100-day. Was sitting there at that 22.08, and then we have your 22.01 sitting there at that 50-day. But what I really want to show you on this chart here, if you're trading this, is just watch the bottom of this candle, okay? This is 23.13. There's your gap, and then look to the top of this candle right here. That's 21.17 level, okay? So there's your gap, your 23.13, and then your 21.17 level. So you have a gap in the fill in case this goes lower. Now, what we have here is we made a nice high here of that 27.55, and we retested it with 26.41, but you notice that it just couldn't hold that kind of a situation. So now what we're looking for on the upside is here, we're looking for this 8-day at 24.55, and then we can just work yourself right on up here, 24.99. You got 25.23, and then your retest of 26.41, and then we have your big boy up here at 27.55. But right now, I don't know if this is really something that you really want to jump into, unless you can start closing above that 26.41 and realistically above this right here. This is what you're really looking to close above, 27.55 level. Okay, and then if you can get above that, then we can fill this gap that's over here at that 28.89 level, and maybe keep running on right up. But right now, it just looks like we just have that sideways action going on here. So if you're trading this here, I wouldn't expect really a whole lot of this unless we can start breaking up above all these situations. And on downside, watch all these key levels of support, but that gap and that fill. Now, AMD, you can see here, this is just completely, waterfalled right to the downside here. You had that 187.28. Now you're down all the way down here to 112.95. Now, what's positive about this is, even though we have this big downtrend, it looks like we're maybe breaking that downtrend kind of a situation. See how that 8-day curl up, went above the 21-day, and now we're headed for the 50-day. Now, downside is, want to take a look at that first here. That 110.12, that's going to be very, very key. And then we have that another gap in the fill. All these charts have these gaps on them. Okay, so 109.40, there's your gap, and then 107.25, there's your fill. And then we have that 8-day below that at 106.97, and then 102.66 level, okay? So what we're looking at the upside here, this is why I use these blue lines here, our price channels, and they work very, very nicely, as you can see here. Just because as you step down, it leaves it on the other side now when we start ratcheting up all the resistant levels, okay? So all you do is just bring these right across. Obviously, we have the 100-day and we have the 200-day. But to fine tune it, we just come over here to the top of that candle. You're looking at 116.55, okay? Then we just bring this right on over here. What do you got? 119.85. And then so on. Just keep right on rolling up here, okay? See 125.65. These are going to become all your resistant levels here now, as these were coming support. Now these are all resistant levels, and you got a really good stair step. So actually, this one here doesn't look that bad versus what you have on the Intel. This just looks sideways action until we can crack above that. Then we got a chance to fill the gap and maybe even go all the way up to the top of there at that 34.45. But AMD looks like here that the selling could possibly be done. Then we're changing that downtrend kind of situation. It looks a lot nicer. But again, on the upside, just always watch these key levels, the 100-day and the 200-day. But all your resistance levels, just bring them price channels right across. And those are your upside targets. And we just keep going until we find it where it actually stops. And then we have a sell-off, okay? So very, very nice here on the old AMD. Now, when we look at this chart, the RSI here, well, you're sitting at 56. That's really not telling us much here. The same way here at the MACD, we're not really showing us here. This is just like a sideways kind of an action situation. But when we look here on the MACD here, we have that nice green that crossed over the red. We're going on the upside here. And we have very, very nice situation here that we even look here. If you look at here, we put in a low. We put in a low here, we put an even lower low, and we put a higher low. So we have a positive divergence going here on the AMD. So actually this chart looks like the selling might be done, and we could probably reverse this and take this higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have a Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Okay, very, very nice. Now, you can see here we got this rising channel. Okay, that's basically what we have. Yeah, it started off to be like a bear flag situation, but it's just carrying on too far. We just have this nice rising channel, which could go very, very much higher, all the way even to that 100-day very easily. Okay, but what I like about this, see how this 8-day now, it was down and it flattened out. Now it's curling up. Now it hasn't crossed over that 21 yet, but I think it's a matter of time. So if we look at the downside here first, you want to watch that 85,237 as your 21-day, then 85,081. That is your 8-day, okay? So that is going to be like your key support levels here. Now, on the upside here, we have an inside day so far, which all it is your high and low is the inside of yesterday's high and low. So what we're looking for the upside is we're watching yesterday's high. That's 88,865. And then we want to come up to the top of this candle. This is your next upside target, 89,380. And then here's your big target that we're looking for is 92,955. And then we have your 50-day right above that at that 93,527. But if it keeps right on going here, say this could channel all the way up here, you know, for weeks here again. So if it hits this, then we have to see what your reaction is, okay? See, we had this reaction where it went to the 21-day, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. Now we're above that 21-day, so now the next level, the big target area is going to be that 100-day. We'd have to see what happens when it gets there. Does it pull back or does it blast through and keep right on going up? Very, very key. Now, downside, just watch this 21-day and the 8-day. Even if it comes down to that area, that could be a nice, good buying opportunity here to take it longer. Now, really, IBIT has been a really, really good trade. TI for the short, that's also been a very good trade. Now, one thing I'll do is I want to point out here on the weekly chart is this 8 simple moving average, okay? So you're sitting right there at that 89,595, okay? That's going to become very, very strong resistance. Now, just like this 50-day held the support. See how it held it right here, and then it held it again, held it here, held it, and then held it very, very nicely, and now she's rallying on up here. But that 8-day is going to be a factor, okay? So we have to watch that 89,596. Now, if we can crack above it, then we have the nice good shot at that 94,625 on the weekly chart, but we have to get through the 100-day and the 50-day first. But again, this is what we always look at here. So I always put these charts side by side to get yourself a big overall look, and then, you know, different points of resistance and support. Okay, take a look here now at crude oil and natty gas. Okay, here we have crude oil, and there we have natty gas. Now, again, on the old crude oil here, we got that rising channel situation. Now, remember, the API report will be out today at 4:30, and we'll see, how it really does, and then how it compares to the EIA report there on Wednesday at 10:30. What we have here is we have an indecision candle, but we made that nice higher high and a higher low. That's always good. Okay, so we had a high of 69.68. We're looking here for the bottom of this candle right here. That was 69.80. Okay, so it came in within 12 cents of that resistant level. Okay, so your next level here is going to be on the upside is going to be that 70.29 level, and then we have 70.54. But realistically, we're looking for this 100-day at that 70.64. That's going to be the upside target. And then again, if you get above that, then we go to the next level, which is your 71.17. That's your 50-day, and then we go to the next level of 72.96 level. Okay, but one level at a time is how we trade. Now, you can see here how this 8-day now at 67.88 crossed over that 67.82. That's very, very bullish. So even if this sells down and holds that 8-day, that's a good buying opportunity to take it nice long again. Now I go UCO for the long, SCO for the short, working very, very nicely. Okay, so let's just see how this all shakes out here. But over time here, I'm looking for the 70.64 area, and then we have to see what the reaction is once we get there. Does it blast through, or does it hit it and then come on down, or maybe even like a sideways action? Okay, you look at the RSI here, sitting at 50, plenty of room either way. Your green is over your red, which shows nice, good, positive momentum there to the upside, which we had a really nice, good momentum off of this nice double bottom situation. Okay, so bottom line, what we're looking for is on the 8-day, the 21-day is your key support levels, the 21-day and your 50-day is the key resistant levels. Now, natty gas here, well, I always say respect this 50-day right there. Now you can see here, where we just went a little bit below that. It looks like we might be close below that 50-day, okay? The reason I always say that, because it held it, it held it, it held it, and it held it, and now today it came right on down. But when this is why you trade the charts, look at that 8-day, okay? Where did it go? Boom, right into it, right into it and right into it again. Could not get above it to go to the next level. So now she's selling off here. So now what we're looking for here is we're looking for this 3.74, which is basically the bottom of that candle. 355, which lines up very, very nice here with the 100 SMA. That's what we're looking for there on the downside. The upside, this 8-day is everything. You're looking at 4 flat. You get above that, we're looking at 411. You get above that, we're looking at the top of this candle at 425. Okay, but you can see how strong. Once that price gets below that 8-day, you just fight it the whole way. Okay, but again, if you're down here and you know that it's going to stop, how much money could you make if you know from the bottom to that top? Okay, that's the key, is one level at a time. So again, watch that 50-day. Okay, now that's going to become resistance, the 8-day and the 21-day. Downside here, we watch obviously today's low. That's at 3.79, and then we're going to come right down 3.74. If that's lost, you can hit that 3.55. Okay, remember the API report for crude oil will be here at 4:30 today. I'll be back tomorrow morning. We take a look at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas, and then we always throw something else to your mix. Market's overall pretty flat today. The Dow's down 84. Nasdaq's down is up about 30, and the S&P is like up 3, down 3 points. So turnaround Tuesday is kind of like a nothing burger. But then again, remember the big rally we had yesterday. So this is also a turnaround. It's more like a flat ski. All right, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.